What up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. And yeah, some of y'all probably say this is very unusual. I'm wearing blue because you know why? Because I'm extra cold tonight. And yeah, you know what that means, what Excalibur would say. It's Wednesday! And that is and you know what that means as well, and that is Wednesday Night Dynamite. But not only that, because it was Wednesday night winter is coming edition of AEW Dynamite on December 11th, 2024, in the best city of the United States, Kansas City, Missouri, at the T-Mobile Center. It's where we saw the first match of the night, which is my boy Switchboy Jay White team up with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy taking on the Death Riders, John Moxley and the Bastard Pack. And I promise you, Assassinators. That's the only time I'm going to call them that. But yeah, and more. We're going to be talking about like things about like what to expect for next week's show, Holiday Bash, which is probably the second best Dynamite of this month of December, I guess you could say. And also, and they did some hype up with AEW All In next year in July. And also some really good Continental Classic matches, and even a pretty, I'll say, a pretty entertaining one hell of a main event from the women, like which they are probably like the second or third ever women like to main event the AEW Dynamite, which is very rare. But it seemed like it's National Women Main Event Week in the wrestling world, because over on Monday we saw women main eventing like the other company's show on their flagship show, but tonight we saw like the women main event like over in this company's flagship show, which is Dynamite. But it's where we got Orange Cassidy went for a suicide dive on the Pack. It's where Jay White took care of John Moxley, making fun of him by talking about his wife Renee, by saying like how she's doing, and does she always mentions my catchphrase bang bang, and then it's where John Moxley had nothing to say because he was getting his face smashed right into the announce table. It's where I was like, yeah, you beat him, like yeah, get him, like this is where I start cheering like if I was in attendance there, but unfortunately I wasn't. Like, but this is where we got Orange Cassidy, then hits a big stroke right to the face. This is where we got Switchblade, then going for what they call like a Uranagi driver right into the harsh part of the ring, in the right corner side onto the ring apron. But this is where he then throws him right and flip him right over to the over the audience. But this is where we saw John Moxley then managed to got back into the ringside area, sends Orange Cassidy face first right into Simba Steel steps after after he got done with Pac. But this is where Jay White said he wants to start off with him because this is where how it began. This is where then the referee started the bell. This is where he started hitting some stroking punches. This is where he threw him right to his corner. This is where he tags in John Moxley. This is where he started hitting some punches and chops, which got him probably a second place spot, while John Moxley hits at number one because the NLL did not appreciate them hitting the chops, and I'll feel totally bad. Well, most likely to my boy Jay White, like for hitting this maneuver, like in him ever crossing the ring with him, like for any capacity. But it's where we got what's his name, John Moxley going for a chop right back. This is where we got Jay White start hitting repeated chops right into John Moxley. That's where everybody started wooing around the arena. Even I was starting to woo because it started to be contagious. All thanks to the Nature Boy, which I'm not sure if I should mention them right now, even though he's still under an AEW contract. But this is where we got Jay White had him from the upper right side to the bottom left side. Is where he did try to go for a diagonal splash, but it's where we got John Moxley countered. It's where we got Switchblade Jay White. Nearly got him into the Blade Runner. This is where John Moxley threw him right to the upper left side. This is where Jay White boots John Moxley right to the face. This is where we got But this is where we got Orange Cassidy tags up in the ring. This is where he then start hitting some strikes right onto John Moxley, right to the bottom right side. This is where one thing Orange Cassidy did not know that that's what by with him they're sneakily letting Pac tag himself back in the match. This is what Orange Cassidy nearly hit the Orange Punch, which is the same move that he'll never hit yours truly with. But this is where John Moxley dodged out of the way, barely by an inch. This is where we saw him running right to the right side. This is where we got Orange Cassidy nearly got him with the suicide dive, but he ends up getting pump kick right into the face by Pac. That's where Pac was like, You're not gonna suicide nobody on my watch, not even my master that I've been brainwashed by. Well, he didn't say all that, but it's where we got Impact to try to pick up Orange Cassidy, but he was hanging on the ropes. Referee holding back because that's illegal to do. This is where then we got Jon Moxley hit a back suplex on the Orange Cassidy right into the ringside area. This is why I shouting out, "You're not Randy Orton!" Like, and I'm very happy that he hit the three most dangerous letters when you were over at the other company, which I'm not going to get into right now. But that's what I did right onto the announce desk. This is where fans are booing, and they have every right to be. And yeah, this Kansas City crowd are awesome. Just like the football team there. But anyway, this is where we got the Jon Moxley through Orange Cassidy right into the middle of the ring. This is where then we got packed in kicks. Orange Cassidy right in the back. This is where we got what's his name? This is where we got Paxton go for a snapmare right into middle of the ring. This is where we got Paxton go for a stomp right into the head. This is where then Orange Cassidy's like, "Oh, my neck." This is where then we got Paxton continue to hit a stomp right into his. This is where he's like, "Surrender or perish." This is where Orange Cassidy's like, "Neither." This is where we got and this is where we got Christian Cage. We happened to watch from the top on the bleachers, like in the arena in the T-Mobile Center. Like, and this is where he brought his stepsons Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian and his new wife, what's her name, Shayna Wayne, like right up on right watching with them with him like as a spectator. And I was like, what the hell he's doing here? Like, and this is where I was like, yeah, like it's obvious that he's looking at Jon Moxley, but like, yeah. But even for Jon Moxley being a lunatic / creep, like Christian Cage is much more of a creep for doing this, and maybe he should be like watching this in his locker room with his family and when the monitor like a normal wrestler would do, unless they decided to just be a fan and just genuinely wanted to enjoy the show, but that's what Christian Cage and they put his nose up in the air, holding up like it's where everybody started booing, which I don't have any issue for them doing that, which I don't blame them whatsoever for booing the man that have fodder issues, I guess you could say. Well, deceased fodder issues, and yeah. And I was like, maybe it's a good thing I wasn't around him, or else he would be poking fun at the assassin, but I'm not going to get into more details about that. You're probably going to figure that out in the future. But this is where we got Jon Moxley was toying with Orange Cassidy along with Pac, like with them double team until like Jon Moxley was in the ring. Like, "Hey, what are you going to do about little boy or little orange?" I should rephrase myself. This is where Orange Cassidy, this is where he hits a big thrust orange kick. This is where he sent him right to the bottom left side. This is where then we got Orange Cassidy then picks himself right back up. This is where then he tags in Jay White. This is where we got Jon Moxley tags in what's his name, Pac. This is where we got Jay White going for a forearm strike right onto the current AEW champion because he's letting them know that he's coming after for his Triple B championship, and maybe even his wife will. I'm not sure why he would. But anyway, this is where then we got Pac then runs right up onto the switchblade. He dodges out of the way. Jay White then going for a body drop right onto Pac. This is where then White was like, "Yeah, bang bang baby," like in KC. This is where then he goes up right into the upper right corner side. He hits a flying European uppercut. This is where then we go like hits a knife edge chop, manages to get up right in the one spot underneath General's MV list. This is where then he throws him right to the upper right side, but it's where we got Pac in counter through him instead. It's where he goes to the leg side. He ends up DDTing like Pac. This is where we got Switchblade Jay White go for an underarm twisting DDT onto him. And this is where the Jay White told, "I told you I have your number each time. Like, no matter what I do, I'm better than you." And I was like, yeah, like that could be true in a way. But I don't think I don't think you going crazy over for his wife is a good idea. But this is where we got Jay White trying to run up onto Pac, but this is where he gets booted right into the face. This is where we got Pac then can start hitting some plenty of offense move, but unfortunately for him, Jay White was not going to take a pinfall for an answers word. Then he tags in Jon Moxley with. Then went up to him right hands because he wants to let him know his wife is off limits along with the AEW championship. This was like 1, 2, 3. Like this for telling her, making her say bang bang. This for you trying to bang bang. Never mind what I just said. But it's where Jon Moxley then started kneeing Jay White right to the face. He's like, and this is for trying to put your nose in my business where it don't belong. My business and my title. And this way it's a forearm strike right to the face onto my poor boy Jay. and this is where it goes for sleeper right on to the switchblade. This is where he then pushes him right onto the ground. This is where John Moxley drags him right to the bottom right side. He gets immediately tagged in by Pac. This is where then he's like, all right. This is where then John Moxley instructed him to knee him right in the face. He's like, all right, master, that because they won't stop drinking that disgusting toxic water from that horrible city in Cincinnati. This is where we got Pac then I was like, oh, like you want to get tagged in by your juicy friend? Like, too bad. Like, the only juice that you're gonna be touching is that this is our filthy maniacal water that's right in our briefcase that Marina's holding on to in ringside. It's a Pac and go for a round kick right to the midsection. Who's like, you guys up the switchblade? Like, I'm more of a sharp blade than your little butter knife can even slice open. That's where then. Going for a headlock right onto Jay White, but this is where Jay White hangs on to the back corner ropes. This is where he had no choice but to stop. Like, with the referee at first, like, was like, all right, stop it. This is where he had no choice but start counting until he got to 4. Pac was like, all right, like, get off my rear end already. This is where then we got a Pac then look right up to his master. This is where he's like, oh, you want to get back in? This is where John Moxley and Muggy's still like, oh, why are you coming up to me? I told you that I didn't want to get tagged in. This is where he's like, no, sir. And this is where he's like, so continue to beat his ass. And this is where he's like, all right, aye, master. And then this is where he hits the face first, then to the bottom, of course. This is where John Moxley's like, all right, I want to get back in. This is where then he immediately gets tagged in. John Moxley started pushing around onto Jay White. I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Even though he might have said some things about, like, what he might want to do with Renee, like, and I know like it's a personal thing, but I would say, like, if you're not gonna back up all those shoving and slapping, like, it's best for you to not do nothing at all. But this is where then we try to go for knife edge chop, but John Moxley started hitting some right hands, hit some headbutts. Go for a clothesline as well. Try to go for a pin, but it's where Jay White, but still not letting him win with a 3 count. This is where then John Moxley like, oh, you're gonna let me win one way or another, and then this is where they started going for that regal stretch submission hold onto what's his name, Jay White, which I believe that used to be a signature, if not still is. This is where then we got then Pac gets tagged in. This is where he started pushing and slapping around Jay White until he started hitting some strike kicks. This is where then he was like, your friend, your switchblade is gonna be like, it's gonna meet his end. This is where they try to go for a slide kick. But this is where the fans are cheering when they saw Jay White grab onto Pac's leg, hits a dragon screw, send him right to the other side. This is where then we got him finally getting the hot tag on Orange Cassidy, which he did make a little bit of a comeback at this point, but this is where John Moxley managed to fight right back, hitting some strikes right to the face of the freshly squeezed Orange. This is where Orange Cassidy ducks out of a specific right strike. This is where he tried to go for a beach break, but this is where this is where we got John Moxley trying to counter into a sunset flip, but Orange Cassidy flipped right out of it, went to the right side, hits a leg swiping kick. This is where Orange Cassidy ducks out of a clothesline, then go for a flying head scissor, turn into a DDT onto Pac. This is where then we got him going for a kip up. This is where he goes for a cartwheel flip right up on the top rope. This is where we got Orange Cassidy to go for a hands-free crossbody. But this is where John Moxley tried to go for like a interception of an avalanche suplex, but he ends up getting bite in the head because it's somehow Orange Cassidy, for him being the fruit, he got razor sharp teeth. Like if he's some kind of a hungry lion or a bear that's trying to maul and feast on on John Moxley's head. This is where like he then after he take a bite out of a crime, this is where he then hits a DDT onto John Moxley, like into a flying tornado DDT. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where John Moxley kicking out at 2.7, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. And then Orange Cassidy was like, elbow pad comes off. This is where you're about to hit the orange punch. This is where then that ended up not happening. But this is where John Moxley tried to go for clothesline. He gets dug out of the way. This is where we got Cassidy hit the DDT. Like this is where then Orange Cassidy run right to the left side. Pac tried to clothesline. But this is where he ducks out of the way, runs right to the right side. Hit the flying head scissor DDT, spinning him around side by side until Pac then picks him up. Trying to go for a brain bust, but he ends up hitting him with a stunt dog millionaire. Followed up with Jay White coming in the ring, helping out with with a double what that dragon a double dragon Nelson suplex, but it's where he gets booted right into the face by John Moxley. With him staring, he still keep his eye on him when he ever interacts with what's Renee Paquette backstage, like, or she gets or if he interview or if she ever interviews him. Sounds like a horrible stalker would do, like an insecure stalker that cannot trust their significant other. But yeah, but I was like how come like you're trying to kill him now, but not like 11 months ago? But that's a mystery that's probably yet to be or ever will not be to be solved. But this is where we got Orange Cassidy finally get the beach break which was a guaranteed. This is where the That's where we got a 2.999999 point away from being 3. This is where we got Antonio Schiavone was like, yeah, that was so close, I got to admit, which I totally agree on with him. And also, and I totally forgot that Orange Cassidy was double cursed of not hitting the orange punch, like, which that might have been his downfall with him every time going for like he always keep getting denied by the current AEW champion, which is going to be sorry that they're gonna be in some way like we're seeing Orange Cassidy getting over. This is where Orange Cassidy trying to take off. This is where trying to go for Orange Puppet. That's where we got Marina Shafir grab onto his leg, but he ends up kicking her right off. That's where Orange Cassidy finally hit the orange punch, but unfortunately it was not to John Moxley. It was on his new protege, which is also Orange Cassidy's former protege, and this is where he hits an orange punch right into him. I'm like, yeah, he could be anybody with that move, but yours truly right here, the handsome guy with the gorgeous handsome face and with the amazing mask and the unique cape that he wears. But anyway, not this face. Like this is an unpunchable face, but this is where then we got Orange Cassidy. He ducks out of. That's where then he has an orange punch finally on John Moxley when he tried to go for a clothesline. He must have got the third time as a charm and the Grand Slam card. This is where then he finally completely takes off the elbow pad, slams it down. And that's where then it was about a quadruplet of a. Fifth was to hit a quadruplet orange punch, but this is where it ended up getting interrupted by a certain cowboy that calls himself Sugar Honey Iced Tea, and that was Hangman Adam Page. That came in and Spears started beating the hell out of John Moxley. This is where Orange Cassidy was very, very upset. Like this is where, but he gets sent right to the outside when he tried to do something about it to the cowboy. This is where no, he was sitting on the outside. This is where he got in the upper right side. This is where we got the switchblade Jay White and started hitting some right strikes. But this is where he ends up hitting but this is where we got Hangman Adam Page for a clothesline, but this is where Orange Cassidy hits an orange punch right to the face onto Hangman. But this is where we got Jay White then forgot about what happened earlier, and this is where he hits him with a Blade Runner, like which it happened not that long ago, where he accidentally hit an orange punch, or maybe that's what we assume when he's trying to help fighting Hangman Adam Page, but it moved out of the way. This is where it was getting more worse. But then, like, still not on the same page with them arguing. This is where they were getting outnumbered by the Death Riders, with them beating the hell out of them. This is where then they ran out of there, and this is where then they were, and this is where they were leaving the ring empty, so their other teammate Claudio Castagnoli can fight Will Ospreay. And let me tell you, it's definitely going to be getting the silver trophy of the night. I would have thrown it in the gold trophy, but we already got like 2 matches that were already got the gold trophy award, like because these matches on tonight's edition of AEW Dynamite on the winners coming 2024 definitely was so good with so many great matches to the point that it got 2 gold trophies. Well, let's move on to the next slide. This is where we got John Moxley. Well, no, before we got that, this is where we got another vignette of a segment of a return with Bandito with these 3 cowboys. That let's get this son of a biscuit iced tea chicken hot cakes. And when every time they try to attack Bandito when he was on his horse, when he got off, that's where he took them out one by one, like. with the leader getting body dropped right onto the porch while his right hand man tried to go for a fireman's carry, which I doubt it was going to be a Diaz Valley driver. That explains why he didn't succeed, because Bandito flipped right out there, sent him right into the gate in front of that porch where the leader was located at. And this is where he pretended to shoot him, but this is where he didn't flip right over him, hit a very impressive right to the face onto the leader, but this is where the right hand man gets a German suplex, and that's why it looked like he was dead after taking that maneuver. Which Simon tomorrow morning or afternoon, we're probably gonna see him gonna be saying that's on the crime encounter, because you just cannot kill nobody because you feel like it. But let's move on. We got well, before I get into that, I want to ask you when we're going to be seeing the return of Bandito. Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But this is where John Moxley was like, I'm getting sick and tired of that everybody here that and you know it says like heavy is the head that wears the crown, and start naming other metaphor quotes. This is where then he was like, a very famous metaphor quote. This is where then he was like the only, and this is where then he ended by saying and then there's the knife that the throat stick right there burning down to the end of the wick, but there's only way to win, and then I don't find any other way, and I'm not sure what he was talking about. This toxic water from Cincinnati must have definitely gotten his brain more way too much, because it got into the brain to the point that he's starting to say stuff that don't even make any sense. But this is where we got John Moxley continues and this is where it's I want the next title shot, and I want and this is where he starts screaming. He's like, I want the next. This is where he starts mocking that. Right? If it's not Jay or Orange or Hangman, fine, I'll give you all title shots for the AEW World Championship, which I'm not sure what he got himself into. This is where even the commentators Excalibur and Antonio Schiavone was thinking the same thing. We're are you sure that he wants to do this? Because this is more of a disadvantage kind of decision that he's making right here. Because once it's in this match, he don't have to worry about himself getting pinned, because this is every man for himself, considering that rule. But who do you think is going to walk out of this fatal four-way match? And it was official by your favorite AEW president, and that is Anthony Khan himself, that made it official. And are we going to be seeing a new champion from either any of these three, or do you think it's going to be or do you think it's gonna be it's gonna be John Moxley that's gonna retain, or do you think it's gonna be Christian Cage that's gonna cash in his contract? And speaking of that, is where we got Christian Cage. Everybody in Kansas City, if I have your attention and do me a favor, shut your damn mouth while I conduct my business. And this is where they wouldn't listen. They start booing him, which I would not blame these guys, for many reasons, which I'm just going to be a little bit unbiased at the moment, saying, because he's genuinely a heel, and he will, we won't stop talking about everybody's having deceased fathers, which I think that's very appalling from even as a character. Totally uncalled for and appalling,
even for Christian himself. But this is where Christian Cage is I got a contract for John Moxley's AEW World Championship, and this is where and this is where the fans are telling him to shut. Fans are boo. This is where he's telling the fans to shut up. This is where them. And then Christian Cage I could be waiting very well on the other side, and if I am this time, I'm not gonna be missing for a shot. I will send you back into a tailspin, and this is where he started blaming the likes of Jay White and even Hangman. The reason why he didn't he's not the reason why. They're the reason why he's not the AEW World Champion right now. When he tried to attempt to cash it in at Full Gear, because he was tricked by the Cowboy that called himself Sugar and the Iced Tea. And this is where then he was but
And this where it's like, and you're looking at the future World Heavyweight Championship, all thanks to this beautiful platinum contract. And then this where then it was like, and then the next time, like till we meet next time, you're looking at the future, like the future face of TNT and TBS now and forever, like at the total dig at his former employers. This is where he's like, and I am the patriarchy, and I am the reigning, defending, undisputed next AEW World Champion. That's what it is. And one more thing, like before I leave, KC, like Kiss, and this is where before he can even say Kiss his rear end, which we want to do that. That sounds very totally appalling and disgusting right there. But this is where it was the cold-hearted and handsome devil that was right onto the bleacher room, outside the bleacher room door. It's where he punched a hole in the wall onto the glass part of the window and the door, just like if he was like Cody back 5 years ago, like when he did the Chris Jericho when he was the AEW World Champion. But this is where he then came in and attacked Christian Cage. Fans start cheering, Hook, and this I started cheering for Hook. It was like I knew that he wouldn't let SNA down, like especially when he's about to do his best of teaching Christian Cage a lesson in the best city of the United States. But this is where he nearly threw Christian Cage after he's done hitting the red room right on. It's where Christian Cage then barely elbows him off. It's where he calls right back inside, but he ends up getting slide and get hit right into the counter, right into the side where it had popcorn and napkins and plastic wares and stuff like that. And this is where we got Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne to try to double team, but somehow with all his rest of his power, he threw Kip Sabian right into the diving area while we threw Nick Wayne right into the corner wall. That's where he went out of there. Just where it was a smart move because he can't fight all those three guys all by himself. He needs some backup, and who do you think he should call? Like that is the duo that could help him out. That hates the patriarchy much more than he does. Give me your speculations about that in the comment section right down below. But moving on, we got that's what we got. Will Ospreay came out, and I'd say this is definitely getting the silver trophy, but unfortunately, they'll get the it's not getting clearly not getting the #1 golden trophy, which I hope that it should, but unfortunately, like it's not the case right here tonight. But still, like despite being second place, that's still not too bad. Like it's still showing that it's still at his best and maybe greatest. But this is where we got Will Ospreay immediately took out Claudio Castagnoli, clotheslining him as soon as the match got started. Hits a cartwheel, backflip, and impressive dive right onto the right side. Is where he was getting hyped with the KC crowd. Is where he hitting some high fives and handshakes to those fans. Is where we got Will Ospreay going for a springboard phenomenal forearm strike if he's a certain phenomenal wrestler. And he's kind of had pants on exactly like the guy that claims to be phenomenal. It's when fans start chanting, I spray. And I'm like, well, wonder what kind of fragrance they spraying in the best city of the United States, which I don't know like what it is, but what it is, it smells like if it's something from the ocean, which I sure hope that is the case. But anyways, this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli intercepted into a European uppercut. This is where then after you try to go for an Oz cutter, and you know the rules on that. Like if it doesn't work the first time, then wait until the second time. But this is where Claudio go for a pin, but this is where he only got him a 2.1 count. This is where Claudio try to go for a Claudio swing. This is where Ospreay goes for a side scissors roll into a wheelbarrow roll up, which is the most devastating move in professional wrestling. This is where Claudio trying to go for a neutralizer, but it's where he goes for a body drop. It's where he hits a European uppercut onto Ospreay, but this is where Ospreay hits a leg sliding kick right into Claudio's face. Both men fell down to the ground. Is where the referees start checking on both men, start doing counting. That's where we eventually do see both men start getting back up. It's where starting their respective strikes on each other. That's where Claudio go for the arm strike. This is where we got Ospreay to hit some strikes right back, but this is where we got Claudio fighting right back. This is where Ospreay's like, I see my arm being tarnished even worse than what you're doing. This is where it's like, saying this is nothing. This is where we got Ospreay starting some forearm strikes. This is where then he threw him right to the upper right side, but from the bottom left side diagonally. But this is where Claudio countered and threw him back first right into that area. This is where then we got Claudio Castagnoli then
They're trying to go for whatever move that's on his mind, but this is where the referee stopped him. This is where it gave Will Ospreay enough time to go to the upper corner side. This is where then he goes for that's where Claudio Castagnoli started dragging out the steel steps. This is where then we got Claudio Castagnoli grabs onto Will Ospreay, gets with a stinging knife edge shot, hits another one, boom, 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 and this is where we got Claudio chops him right to the chest. This is where Ospreay then jump right up on the top. This is where he hits a missile drop kick right into the steps, hits the knees of the Swiss cyborg, and this is where Will Ospreay. That's one way to make him go down on his knees. This is where then with him going with the knee punch. This is where then he then jumped right onto the stem of the steel steps after that, try to go for a crossbody. But it's where he ended up getting flapjacked right onto the top corner side. It's where he landed right onto his jaw. Like, oh my God, like, yeah, this is so painful. This is where then we got Claudio Castagnoli then and redid the count because, like, he did not want to win, like, by count out because that does not make him look like a true champion. And also, you don't want to win. You don't want to settle with a draw, especially with someone like Will Ospreay trying to prove a statement right here. But it's where we got Claudio Castagnoli did grab Ospreay trying to go for a catapult right onto the aerial assassin, but this was I have a better idea. He then hits the Claudio swing, slamming him right to the side by hitting him with his shoulder. That's where then he grabbed onto that exact same arm and then tied it right onto around the stem of the steel step, and then stomped on it right onto that arm. He's like, the pain, and this where then we got Claudio Castagnoli, you think that's all? Like, just wait and see what's going on next. Is where we got Claudio push the steel steps right onto Will Ospreay's arm, but luckily Will move out of the way. This is where then that's where Claudio got back in the ring. That's where we got the Swiss Superman trying to go for an attack, but this is where he ends up getting knife edge chopped by the aerial assassin. This is where we got Claudio Castagnoli throws Ospreay right into the right side, but it's where he got hit with a right forearm strike. This is where we got Will Ospreay trying to go for a phenomenal forearm once again, but this is where it was not a guarantee because you already hit that maneuver, and that wasn't a guarantee. This is where Claudio Castagnoli hit a European uppercut. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli going for the cover, but he ends up getting a kick out at 2.3, if I'm not mistaken. This is where then Claudio Castagnoli then continue to do some offense onto what's his name, Will Ospreay, while it was on the partial what's that called? Like when the show was on the partial powerful force in all the professional wrestling, and that is the commercial break. But once they're partially off of their adverts, is where we got Will Ospreay was back into the offensive side, which I thought, man, I see why they call it the powerful force. And then the most powerful force, let me rephrase that, is where then we got Will Ospreay try to go for it, try to go right in the corner, hit a dive, but he ends up getting kicked right in the midsection. He goes for a wrist lock. He bends that arm, like, my arm. And this is where then we got Claudio Castagnoli, who's like, yo, like, you think that's bad? Like, let's see what you're gonna, what else I'm gonna do to you. But this is where it was more like what Will Ospreay was about to do, because he picks him up, hits him with a brainbuster, hitting him right into the middle of the rope. This is where we got Will Ospreay going for a diving corkscrew splash onto the Swiss cyborg. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but Castagnoli kicks out at 2.5, like a generic quarterback would say when they snap in the football, say 2.5, and this is where Will Ospreay took off his elbow pad, about to hit him with the hidden blade, but Claudio can't move out of the way. But it's where he runs right to the right side. He didn't try to hit the flying octopus hold, similar to the Black Widow, and this is where we got. But this is where we got what. But it's where we got what's his name? Will Ospreay like go of him. This is where then we got Claudio Castagnoli hang on to the ropes, like with him still standing. This is where we got what's his name? This is where then he would hang on to the ropes. Referee was like, all right, 1, 2, 3. This is where Will Ospreay tried to come back, but he ends up getting back elbowed. Then eventually clothesline. This is where we got Claudio Castagnoli going for a double foot stomp onto the back. This is where then we got. Here's where we got Claudio Castagnoli to try to go for a gut wrench suplex onto the aerial assassin. This is where Claudio tried to go for a cover, but Will Ospreay kicked the left shoulder up at 2.3. 2, if I'm mistaken, is where Claudio Castagnoli was like, bummer. And this is where then Claudio Castagnoli tried to go for an avalanche suplex because he always good and he never disappoints for the last decade. Like for those that are aware, like he does not disappoint when it comes to hitting that maneuver. But this is where Will Ospreay headbutts him to knock him right off. This is where Ospreay then nearly lost his balance and fell right onto the outside. And I was like, I hope that does not happen. Because the last person that fell to their death in the wrestling show in Kansas City was I believe was Owen Hart. Yeah, and I was like, hopefully Ospreay don't make the same fate. Luckily he regained his balance. This is where then we got Will Ospreay going up for a diving corkscrew onto the court. This is where we got what's his name? Claudio Castagnoli hits a move out of the way, hitting this diving corkscrew spot, hit a running European uppercut right out of nowhere. This is where Claudio Castagnoli, it was like when it did not work at 2.99999 minus 2 point away be 3. It was like that should have been at least a 3 right there, out of the get go. This is where we got Claudio start booting Will Ospreay right into the face. This is where then we got Claudio Castagnoli was like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do about it? This is where Will Ospreay was like, oh. This where I want to tell you. This where then we got Claudio Castagnoli start bending that arm every time when Will Ospreay go for a right hand strike, but it seemed like it doesn't phase him, just like Superman on Batman vs Superman when Batman tried to hit him with punches, it just doesn't not phase him. And this is where we got this is where Will Ospreay is like, yeah, I'm indestructible. This is where he started hitting some forearm strikes, and this is where he's like, you cannot destroy me, bruv. And then this is where Claudio Castagnoli is like, that's so, bruv. And he said it wrong with it. I'm saying it with an L rather than an R because it's catchy when you put an R in it, like if you're about to say bro. But it's his way of saying it with his deep accent. But this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli hits a European uppercut onto the aerial assassin. This is where the Claudio Castagnoli want to see me do more of the European uppercut, going to the European uppercut express train until we got Will Ospreay ducks out of this European uppercut. The next time when he runs to the left side, this is where Ospreay then went right up to that same corner, hits the Os cutter out of nowhere, more than an RKO, and with all due respect to the inventor of that move. But he finally got his guaranteed. Like I told you earlier, he didn't got successfully this time, but he did the next time when he tried to do it around. It's where we got Will Ospreay trying to go for a cover. But it's where we got Claudio to roll out of the ring. And I was like, that was such a shame that he did so. It's where Will Ospreay manages to bring him back in the ring after diving onto him. It's where he's about to hit him with the blade, the hidden blade. But it's where he gets caught. It's where he made this is where Claudio made Will Ospreay say, oh, dog, sugar, honey, iced tea. No, he was not talking about a puppy, or someone's wrestling puppy, which one in particular, does not have an ice cold, sweet, refreshing beverage, not at least not at this time, at least. But yeah, just like Claudio Castagnoli did to made that certain 16-time world champion that's about to retire next year, exactly around this month, of course, because he hit a flying European uppercut, because that will make you sugar, honey, iced tea your pants. But luckily that did not happen because Claudio Castagnoli got kicked out at 2.8. This is where Claudio Castagnoli, why you're not giving up? This is where he hits a fly. He hits a big, devastating, hellish lariat to try to seal the deal. But once he tried to go for a pin, Ospreay still would not take a pinfall for an answer at 2.9999999. This is where Will Ospreay grab onto Claudio's leg, hits the jackknife right into the middle. This is where he goes for that pinfall maneuver. He gets the 1, 2, 3 that way, and I guess that counts as the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling. This is where Claudio Castagnoli then turned into a sore loser by neutralizing Will Ospreay after he get this win. This is where luckily Darby Allin scared him off before he do more damages, and this is where they hype things up that we will indeed see Will Ospreay taking on Darby Allin, along with Mercedes Moné taking on Anna Jay for her TBS championship. We're gonna get into those subjects in just a moment, but I want to ask you the question: who's your predictions? Who's gonna win next week at the Holiday Bash edition of Dynamite in Washington D.C.? But this is where we move on, and we got. That's where we got Ricochet then with the backstage interview. That's where then Renee Paquette, I thought that she she started doing a better job with her journalism, which I'll say maybe the mass majority, like probably 85%, she's been doing pretty impressive. Like she's been improving, like with some other details. This is where we got Renee Paquette was like, yeah, you are 1-1 in the Continental Classic. You won one and you lost one. This is where just like with a especially with an incredible win against Commander last Friday on Rampage. But tonight, you will be taking on the Hell Dog, which he's also 1-1 and only got one win. First talent, and this was like and that's one of those guys that I'm gonna be fighting tonight. It's a new guy that I have yet to fight, and that is Brody King, because this is my first time facing him. Like he may be big and bad and scary and frightening, but he's also obviously one of those toughest guys in the tough. But guess what? He's not he's not Ricochet, and he was like, Brody and we may be 1-1 right now, but tonight, I'm gonna tell you, Ricochet is the one that's holding all the cards, and I was like, yeah, and that's where I was like, yeah, that sounds like a certain super ninja assassin that's right here, that I'll have a lot of cards. Well, it may not be VIP cards. Well, maybe not just yet. Or MVP cards. Wait, I think I have gotten an offer by MVP to join the Hurt Syndicate. I had to turn them down because I'm not in the wrestling business, just not yet. But I mean, I didn't really fully decline him. I just said once I am in the business, I will give him a call. Which he gave me his number, with the. With a different business card. Well, no, I'm obviously lying through my teeth. I have not met MVP, but let's just say I did saw him in attendance over at the other company when he was still under a contract there at a house show. When he was managing a Nigerian giant or something like that. Yeah, but I that's only first I got to see him in person. But anyways, it's where we got a guy holding on to a ring on his pinky finger, and this only means one thing and one person to be in particular. It was and this guy was wearing a red wine shirt, with him got a very grayish and red and white scarf on, and when he got out of this Chevy Silver Tahoe, is where it was none other than MJF. And I was like, and there's Maxwell Jacob Freeman, this is where he was getting out of the car, and going inside the building of the T-Mobile Center, because he's getting ready to spectate to see what's going to be happening between Adam Cole, baby, taking on Kyle O'Reilly. And yeah, I'll say no offense to AEW, maybe they had too many segments in one night, but maybe except for one in particular, well, a couple I should say, but one in particular, which I'm getting to later on, that was fine, but the rest, I'm not sure why. I know they were telling stories, but maybe they were doing it a little bit too much, but that's just a minor issue. But other than that, yeah, AEW, was doing what they were supposed to do. But this is where we got Matt Cardona came in. That's where Matt Cardona's like, yeah, I told you that I was ready, Chris. And I said, he was like, what if it's you? And this was and then you, Brian Keefe, I didn't appreciate you ambushing me from behind just because I disrespected your teacher. Yeah, big deal. And this what. And then this where then he's and everything I did, everything I mentioned to Chris Jericho this past Friday, that was exactly my life. I made a difference for myself, made a name, reinvented myself in the last 5 years, and also became the indie god and the king of death matches. I believe that's what he said. And now he's gonna get a shot at Chris Jericho's Ring of Honor Championship in his backyard at the what's that called at the ballroom in New York, and then it's where after he basically made a statement to them, and this is where after that he also challenged Brian Keefe into a match, saying that's why I'm gonna take care of you first before I take on your teacher or father, whatever hell he is to you. That for the reason why you love respecting him so much. He's I'm gonna take him out first, then I'm gonna go after you next. This is where then he stormed out there. He's like, see you on Friday. And yeah, that's the only match that I'm probably going to remember at AEW Rampage. Maybe not, because AEW Rampage is probably like an afterthought, let's be honest. Like, most of y'all probably cannot wait for it to be over and get put out of its misery. As soon as 2025 hits, and then when they're going to be simulcast on Max, like along with them staying on TNT and TBS with their respective shows, Dynamite on TBS and Collision on TNT. I mean, but this is where we got Adam Cole, baby, that came out. This is where he had his match against Kyle O'Reilly. This is where we got Renee Paquette that was saying, like, yeah, he's stepping in the with a long time. He's standing face to face with a long time best friend, like Adam. Yeah, like and the winner of this match will face MJF at the World's End. Like, yeah, you like what you got to prepare for this match before Kyle O'Reilly can even say anything. This is where he gets immediately interrupted by Adam Cole's friends, and I guess you say Undisputed Kingdom family members. It was Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. This is where it's like, look, I want to even after this match, I just want to let you know that we're still family at the end of the day. This is where Kyle O'Reilly's like, yeah, like. And this was like, well, like you should have thought of that in the first place before your brother Roddy got hurt. And this where he's like, just saying. This where he shrugged himself into an emoji. This where, and even we got Matt Tate, Mike Ben trying to talk him out. Like it's still not too late to go to just forfeit this match and just not compete here, because of us and we could be one big happy family, and we could and this is what MJF want y'all to do, because he just want y'all to beat each other, to the point that y'all nearly murder yourselves, and he just feasts on the remaining carcasses of y'all's lifeless bodies. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to divide and conquer us, basically, just like a demon would do. And this is where Kyle O'Reilly was not listening. This is where he just walked out of there after what he said, and this is where then he headed out to the ring because he has a match against Adam Cole. It's where they start going for their grappling battles, where we got Adam Cole overpowered Kyle O'Reilly to a pin, but it's where Kyle O'Reilly kicked out of it at 1 even. This is where Adam Cole tried to go for a super kick. This is where we got Kyle, then runs right to the left side. He was like, oh, no, you don't. This is where we got Bay was like, oh, okay, you want some space? I'll give you some space. Where Kyle O'Reilly then went right back in the ring. This is where they start playing wrestling like babyface until they start going for what's that called? This is where Adam Cole to try to go for an inside cradle, but Kyle O'Reilly then try to enter him back with a roundhouse kick. This is where Adam Cole dodges this kick. This is where then he went right into the left side of the ringside area, but he ends up getting knee strike right in the face by Kyle O'Reilly. This is where we got Kyle to start. This is where we got Kyle to start hitting some leg striking kicks. This is where then he starts striping all over onto Adam Cole. This is where he started hitting some submission holds. This is where then we got O'Reilly then hits a knee right to the chest onto Adam Cole, sitting right to the left side. Then hit him, followed up with another running knee, which he must have learned from the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson himself. O'Reilly to throw Adam Cole right back in the ring. This is where we got Kyle O'Reilly going up right up on the bottom left corner's top turnbuckle. This is where then he goes for a double foot stomp. This is where Adam Cole smartly moved out of the way, or else he would have been sliced in half. This is where then we got Adam Cole try to go for the boom. And this is where we got Kyle O'Reilly moving out of the way. This is where we got Adam Cole trying to go for a super kick, but this is where Kyle O'Reilly covers himself. But this is where we got Kyle O'Reilly psyched him, and then he hits a roundhouse kick right to the midsection. This is where he hits a missile. That's where he hit the what's they call a discus forearm right to the face, but it's where Adam Cole saw O'Reilly right on his knees. This is where Adam Cole then went right up into the upper right left corner